show you a fun way to work with a napkin and your Xyron machine. So what I have here is I have a napkin. I have my mini sticker maker. I have some sheer ribbon from the dollar store. I have some cardstock, and I have a notepad that I bought from the dollar store. This comes 5 to a pack, and so you could definitely make more than just one. But what I'm going to do today is cover the notepad with a fun cover, and the cover is going to come from the napkin. Now, napkins can be very delicate to work with, and you want to peel them down so that you get to the single lining, and just the one that has the ink stamped on it. And so my trick here is to just cut off a corner and then kind of roll with your thumb until you get those to separate out. Alright, so then you have this kind of white one that you can set aside to use for cleanup for another project, and then you have this one that has the ink printed on that. I'm going to set that aside for a second and show you what I have here. Is a piece of white cardstock that I have run through my larger Xyron machine, and I have just put adhesive on one side. So I'm going to peel this open and then take off my cardstock. Now I've already cut this down to size to fit my pad of paper. So now I'm setting my cardstock with the sticky side up. And I'm going to take the napkin and I'm going to place it kind of in the center of the cardstock and then work out from there. Now see, there's a wrinkle there, but it shouldn't really matter because once you press it out onto the cardstock, it won't be there anymore. Now, the reason that I went kind of in this section of the napkin here instead of the edges is that sometimes it has like a little indentation or kind of where they've plied the pieces together. It has like some perforation and so forth. So I always just shoot for the center area. Now, flipping this over and using my cardstock as my template, I am just going to cut the tissue paper away. Anywhere I have missed a little bit like this, I can go back and clean that up after I get it cut out. Alright, so everything's looking pretty good here. I've got a little bit of adhesive on the side here. I'll wipe that off in a minute. And I'm just going to clean up this little area here that I missed. Alright. And there is our napkin. And any little creases you can just straighten out by pushing down on them. So now I'm just going to fit this onto my notepad. So I'm just going to line this up and figure out how I want this to fold over. And then I will crease the edges. If you have a bone folder or a dull butter knife, that works really well for making these creases. Or you can just roll it on your tabletop as well. That will help make those creases as well. So then the next step you want to do is attach that to the back. And I'm going to do that with some adhesive. Alright, so there we have our cover made from a napkin. Now if I had put like a colored cardstock underneath this, it might give a little bit of a shadow of that color under the napkin, because remember the napkin was very translucent. So now I'm ready to decorate, and I am going to add this sheer ribbon. Adding glue with a sheer ribbon is going to show through the ribbon. So I want to be careful about that. A neat trick I found is to take a piece of that same white cardstock and use it underneath your ribbon. And so you can see how much different that is from just doing it without. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece of cardstock and run it through my mini sticker maker. And this is the same thing that I did for the piece that covers the Notepad, just on a bigger machine. Alright, so I'm going to give that a good rub down before I peel off the cover sheet. And then I'm going to peel off my cardstock and once again set it down with the sticky side up. Then I'm going to take my ribbon and place it right over that area. Now, if I don't like its placement, I can easily adjust. Okay, so I can have a few goes at this, sticking it down into place. If I can get my fingers off of it. All right. And so here you can see how that's going to look on the cover. So let me just trim this off. I'm going to take my adhesive and run it on the back of that white cardstock. And then I'm going to place that on the front cover of my paper pad. Okay, so just like that. And I think I got it a little crooked, so I'm going to adjust. Let's see how that looks. And then opening it up, using the cardstock again as my measurement, I'm going to trim off both sides here. And I didn't get enough off on this one side, so I'll just go back in and trim that again. Alright, so there you go. I'm going to make a bow and attach it to the front there. Alright, so I have my little mini bow tied out of the same ribbon that I've decorated the front, and I'm going to just place that on top to finish off the Notepad. The best thing I have found that works for this gluing ribbon to ribbon is a fabric type glue. So I'm gonna just put that on here and I'll be finished. If you want to learn how to make these little mini bows, I will link to my video below in the description for how to make those little mini bows. I'm using the sheer ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and I typically make a bunch of them out of different colors and then store them in a little container so I have them at the ready to use. So I'm just going to push on this for a little bit so it does get attached well, and then I am finished with my napkin covered note